Hello and what is up everyone, Thunderbob here, and tonight I'm checking out some more Diablo 2 Resurrected. I am playing a single player character. I featured this character once before on the channel. This is kind of the build I'm targeting on my new Zealot Smiter on Battle.net. That character is in the 50s right now. I'm exclusively playing them with a real life friend of mine. We've been having some trouble linking up, and we said we're going to start new characters and we're going to only play them together. And between the queues, Battle.net being down, just us all, both being adults with kids, we've only been able to play like once or twice a week. So that character right now is barreling through Nightmare, getting into Hell. But I'm eager to test out my metal against the Ubers. I haven't done this in a few years. I created a character from scratch and got it all the way to Ubers a couple years ago, and I haven't done it since. And I want to make sure that I'm still capable of doing it. So I put this together. This is basically the target build for my online paladin, though I'm actually almost here already. Like I've got the Herald, I've got Gore Riders, and Goblin Toe. I'm going to switch between them depending on which I want to use. I've got Guillaume's face. I don't have Fortitude. I probably won't use Fortitude. This really doesn't get you much for Smite. It's more for Zeal. So this is expensive, but I probably won't be using Fortitude. Cheating a little bit here. I've got Verdungus online. I don't have a dual leech ring. This is a pretty ridiculous ring, but I've got a pretty decent leech ring. Ravenfrost, I've got Ravenfrost online. High Lord's Wrath, another one that's not really required. This doesn't really help your Smite too much. Deadly Strike doesn't impact Smite. I do not have Grief. I'm hoping to have it in the next couple weeks. I'm just training for a low. I've literally got everything else to put it together, and low is expensive. But I'm putting together some trade goods, and I think I'll have it before too long. Dracul's is the other piece. These are the two pieces really I don't have that I think are pretty not necessarily critical. Like you can get a wand for your life tap, and you can use like black as an alternative to Runeward Black. Actually, it might be better because of the really high crushing blow on it. But I'm targeting Grief. That's what I want to make, and I hope in the next couple of weeks I'll be able to make a video when I'm through Hell difficulty and I finish putting the character together. But for now, I just wanted to go through and test out can I kill Ubers? It's been a hell of a long time, and I just want to see how this build works. To show you, this is gonna be a 1-point smiter. I did max smite because this is the level 99 base character I used. But the basic build is max sacrifice, max zeal, max holy shield, max fanaticism, and then any remaining points you're going to put into smite. This is kind of the last thing I'm going to be upping because I mostly just use it for the bosses. I almost went with a Blessed Hammer Paladin, but there's so many of them out there, and I found a lot of the key pieces to this build early on, so I said I'm going to go for a Zealot. Not many people are doing that right now. You can also put some points into the resists here. These will actually, every 2 points, will increase your base resistance by 1. So like you can see, I've got fire resist at 76 because of this bonus here. You really want all max resist, and even going above 75 is kind of critical to succeeding at Ubers. I'm going to see if I can do it with the 75. I do have some pretty ridiculous gear here. As far as stat points, you want just enough to use your gear and strength. You want enough to be able to have a 75% chance to block when you've got your holy shield up. The rest, vitality, nothing, and energy, unless you're a masochist. Now we're just going to go through this one by one in the portal, see if we can kill the lesser demons here, and then we'll go for the big baddies. So here we go. And Duriel can spawn all over the place, from my memory, and I should have grabbed some thawing potions just in case, just in case I have a conviction put on me, but let's just find him to start with. All these physical immunes, well, not all of them, the physical immunes in particular are rather annoying against this build. I could throw up my vengeance, but yeah. And my Merc is probably not going to make it. He is not spec'd for this, really. And you kind of want to find Duriel and then draw him away from the other enemies, unless you can take them down pretty easily. The physical immune ones are a pain in the butt, so like I just kind of try to avoid them. Where are you at, Duriel? And I've been playing this game off and on for years. Like I played it when it came out, and I was probably addicted to it for 5 to 6 years. And WoW came out, and that kind of took my attention for quite a few years. And then I quit WoW cold turkey. I said this is not healthy for me. And then like Diablo had never. There he goes. Emilio. Diablo had never really left my hard drive. I'd always like come back to it every couple of years. And God, where is Duriel at? It's always hiding. It'd always been installed, and I'd come back to it periodically. And I remember hardcore I got into it. There we are. I hardcore got back into it. Let's see if I can take them on while surrounded by enemies. When Diablo 3 was coming out, like prior to Diablo 3 coming out, I got into Diablo 1 and beat it completely from scratch. Let's see if changing up to Zeal in the end will help, because once he gets low enough, your crushing blow does not have as big of an impact. Okay. Now let's get out of here. That was actually relatively easy. I wanted to go for the waypoint. Yeah, so I'd play every couple years. I got really into it again right before Diablo 3 came out. I played through all of Diablo 1. I played through Diablo 2 along with my wife, who I convinced to play with me. And then Diablo 3 came out. I played that for a couple years. I got off that, you know, after a year after the expansion came out. I kind of gave up on it. And ever since then, I jump into Diablo 2. I'd get a couple characters into the 80s, and then I'd kind of get bored again. I'd get them all decked out. The characters would expire, and then I'd start over a year later. That's kind of been my process. Let's go ahead and we'll do Matrons next. And the reason I went with Zeal is because it's like a great complement to Smite. Like, they both use so many of the same skills and synergies, and like, you don't really need to max Smite to be effective, is the thing. Like, Smite is actually really not used for the damage on it itself. Like, maxing it out really doesn't increase your damage that much. So 1-point Smite is totally doable for most builds. And like, there are a lot of Hamberdons actually that have like just a couple of gear changes, and then that they can take on Ubers as well. But I wanted a character where I don't really need to switch anything, where like the gear is pretty, like the gear for a Zealer and the gear for a Smiter is pretty interchangeable. Like, they both benefit from a lot of the same things. Smite does not benefit from all of the same things. Like, enhanced damage doesn't really impact Smite. And some things don't transfer over, obviously. Poison damage, things like that. I don't really need to take these down, but I don't want to get swarmed by them while I'm fighting in Duriel. But I'm making some progress online. I've got my sorceress up to, I think, 86 or 87. Can't quite remember. And I've got her pretty decked out. I'm going to do a follow-up video. I recently respect her to Orb Firewall, and I've been really enjoying that. There's a video you might want to check out. And I think that is maybe my go-to build for the moment. It can kill anything in the game, basically. I'm not limited by the immunities any longer. I can take on Baal without any difficulties. Like, I can do a 2.5 minute Baal run at this point. Though it's not always productive to do that, but yeah, it's a ton of fun. Yeah, where's she at? Is she over there, maybe? That little alcove I didn't explore. I've got her pretty decked out. I'm going to do a follow-up video probably next week. I'm going to be traveling to Legoland for like the next week with my family. And yeah, so I'll be offline. But when I come back, I plan on showing off kind of where I'm at with the character. I have got my Zealot Smiter up to like level 50 something. I probably won't be able to play this weekend because I'm traveling, but when I come back next week, I plan to play with my buddy again and hopefully get into hell difficulty and get geared up to run some Ubers. I've got key sets I've already been farming on my Sorceress. See, like, this is, I think, so much harder if you're going pure Smite. Like, Zeal just rips through these guys, where Smite, you're doing one attack at a time. And usually you're just, like, running by them and just getting annoyed by getting, you know, smacked around by these little ladies. Alright, let's back off. Or not. Let's just go for it. See if I can do it. Change over to Smite. Smite is lovely because it always hits. It's very, very fast. It is uninterruptible, basically. Like, as long as I keep this button down and life tap is up, I'm not going to die. I can't. Even with all those other guys throwing stuff on me, I'm just not going to die. It's great. And then if I'm not fighting, like, the individual monster, I'm going to switch over and use my my Zealot, my Zeal. Alright, we got 2 down. No, actually, I went to the wrong one. But I should go get that curse off me. Hello. I did, if you didn't notice, I put some mana potions on, because if I get hit by mana burn, I don't want to get stuck anywhere. And let's go for the third of the, these aren't the Ubers, these are, like, the sub-bosses? What are these called? I don't remember. There's a term for them. And obviously this character is way over-geared for this. My character is not going to have quite this level of gear. I won't have all the charms. I won't have... I'm going to be lucky if I can get Grief put together. I would really love to, but even if I don't, I think black will be a fine alternative. That stun is nice on these guys too, and they can't do anything against you. Black actually might even be more effective, because I think right now with the gear I'm running, I've got, I can look at this, I think it's 50% crushing blow, which is like kind of like the most critical piece of, where is it at? Crushing blow. A lot of deadly strike, 50% crushing blow. You know, you really would benefit from getting up to 100% crushing blow, you know, where every attack activates it. And then, like, the only time you really kind of slow down is when you get that last sliver of health and the crushing blow isn't kicking in really anymore. And that's kind of a pain. That's where having, you know, all the rest of the gear really comes in handy. I love the animation on those guys. That's gnarly. Look at that. It's cool. I mentioned that I've been, you know, trying to play my online character with a buddy of mine, and yeah, the queues have not been helping. Like, we're both adults with full-time jobs. You know, we've got, he's got 2 kids, I've got a daughter, and I've got a wife that I'm trying to, you know, balance my game time, my family time. So usually I only play when I get the daughter to bed, and it's on a night that I'm not doing something with the wife. So, and my friend's the same way, and we both had stuff going on. My wife was in the hospital last week. I think I mentioned it in another video. She had a lumbar puncture and had a bad reaction to it, and God, these guys don't stop. She was in the hospital for a couple of days. She's better now, and just things always going on. My parents' funeral service was the other week. If you look on the video on my main page, you can get some information on that. I'm not going to get into it now, but there's been a lot of stuff on my plate lately, and trying to coordinate with a friend of mine. We both love the game, but it's harder being an adult. Like when this game came out, I was in high school, I think, just entering high school. There he is. This guy used to be a lot harder. I think there was Iron Maiden in this area, and then they got rid of it, I think. And he's dead. Yeah. 3 down. 3 more to go. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you are a family man, if you are a person with kids now who played this game 20 years ago in middle school, high school, college, it's probably a very different experience, to be completely honest. I remember being able to play this game 10 hours a day, every day, and it's kind of been a wake-up call that, like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to level up all these characters in a week and get them all decked out and everything, but I'm in this for the long haul. I love this game. I'll be making characters probably for years to come. Let's see if I can... That's the hardest one, of course, I pulled. And if I don't get the... Okay, I got him. If that life tap didn't trigger, I might have died there. I don't want both of these guys at once, but I'm a badass, so we'll see what I can do. I am getting swarmed. Yeah, Smiter is ridiculous for this. There's no one else in the game who can come close to the uber abilities of a Smite Paladin. Okay, before I die, let's start attacking. They are all physical immune, and I'm gonna not be leeching here in a minute. I cannot pick it up. Oh, it's because I've got one on me. That's right. I'm dumb. Oh, yeah. Gotta go back to the portal. I want to see what I got, because this character already has one, but I'm curious. Nice thing is, I could just go and drop this in the shared stash. Pick her up. And that was kind of ugly. Usually you want to come in and try to pull them apart so that you're not fitting multiples at once. But over-geared Smite Paladin for the win. Okay, I would be pleased with that online. Paladin torches in general, Paladin and Sorceress torches are going for a lot. 17 attributes, not bad. Resist a little low. But yeah, it's not a bad torch pull. If I would have got that, I would have been completely pleased. I plan on doing another video when my paladin gets into hell difficulty and I get all the gear on him, and my first attempts at like more of a newbie level Uber runner. So keep an eye out for that. But this is like on the very high end, just a very quick and dirty run through on Ubers. I will have this character available for download. I'll have a link in the comments below, probably the day this goes up. So if you want to play around with this, and I will have keys in the stash on that version of the character. If you want to try this yourself, go at it. Let me know what you think. If there's any gear I should change out. Not all of this I'm going to be using, like Fortitude I probably won't use online. This is obviously an ethereal, ridiculous Fortitude. So I probably won't be using that, but definitely Herald, I'll upgrade it when I can. Gore Riders or Goblin Toe, Jackhools are kind of required. Guillaume's face. I'd also have Vampire's Gaze. I might swap between them depending on how much Crushing Blow I need. But yeah, I'm pretty close to this. I just got to finish leveling my guy and get that Grief and the Dracules, and I'll hopefully be doing this online as well. If you enjoyed this video, I have a ton of other Diablo-related content. I have a lot of non-Diablo content, new releases, virtual reality, retro gaming. Check some of it out, and if you like it, think about subscribing. Again, I want to thank you for watching, and have a good night.